put in achievement is a word that matters to me a lot. So I'm highly driven by achieving, not only for myself, but for others. So if I can go into a restaurant and all of a sudden we're watching all these indicators go up and we're starting to take a certain rank, I'm like, I love that, and I'm competitive as well. And so if there's a competition involved, I'm going to do anything I can to win. But achievement, and even to this day, there's some sort of mental health component here too, because sometimes in my days, I think we've talked about this going to dinner before, but Monday through Friday, I'm kicking ass achieving as much as possible. And then I would go into Saturdays and I would be like, what am I going to do for achievement? And almost kind of down or bored or missing out on something. And it was achievement, almost addicted to achievement. And so I think there's a realization there, but that's definitely a huge driver in my life. I've since realized how achievement is not only a great thing, but it's a really bad thing too. If I'm looking at my family who I know, love, and trust, but I'm bored, I've found a way to turn that into achievement and turn that into a driver. So, I've found a way to match my passion and drive and energy with maybe what I thought was missing within my family. So there's some ties there.
Yeah, 100%. And I even liked what you said, among other things, but about when you were chasing achievement for those locations and for those different businesses that you're helping them achieve something too. So I've heard it said before that you'll do more for other people than for yourself. And, it seems like that drives you, right? If you can help impact other individuals and make their lives easier, that's fun. Yeah. That's exciting. And sometimes, it's okay. It's fun to do achievement on my own and achieve a goal for myself. But if I set, some goals up for the team or even we do this from the family side, like some type of fun thing that the family can do if we hit the certain achievement together, or if I hit achievement, it's more likely I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's for someone else.
I love that about you. So you set these targets. We don't do this in our family as much, but you set these targets and then you reward yourself. And I've seen you do that. And I think it's awesome. Like, what a great way to go about it. And then you got a wife who's totally on board. And so that's got to make it fun.
Most days. Some days she's like, "Ooh, this is going to be tough to hit this," because we do them once a quarter. And now we're getting close to the end of the quarter. It's like, "What are you doing tonight?" We're gonna go. We call it check boxes because we got a list of boxes we have to do.
Yeah.
But that type of thing is very motivating, because I feel like if it was something where I was, had the choice to do it for myself, I might not do it. But because it affects other people, like we're going to go on a trip in July, and if I don't do what I said I was going to do and hit this level of achievement, we're not going to do it. 100%. And so some of those things are like, it's very, very motivating, and it's encouraging to hear that those are motivators for you too, and that doing things for others. You talked a lot about this business owner that you were able to help add to his bottom line and grow his business, and you were talking about it from his perspective about how you were able to do these things for him. It wasn't about you, and could see that brings joy and passion into what you do, and obviously led into some of the things that you're doing today. Right. We skipped over a little bit of your story, so I keep jumping ahead because I'm super excited about where you're at today, and we'll dive into it. Yeah. And then I keep reversing and going back a little bit. You hinted at Grand Valley. Mm-hmm. You said you went to school for engineering for a little bit, but that's not what your degree is. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about your college experience and what that was like?
Well, the marketing degree, and so the marketing degree was a fleeting moment. It feels like just a blink. It was also party days. So quite a bit of it is forgotten, maybe consciously so or subconsciously so, but it was really a positive experience at Grand Valley, the pieces that I was present for, and what a great university it is. But I remember going into it that I wanted, to appease my father. And so I checked out engineering. And I'm like, this is not me. I'm not doing this. And then I switched. I got a marketing degree, graduated with that. Met some pretty important people in my life throughout, such as Prashant Ranade and Robert Fry, a couple professors that stood out to me, amongst others that I'll have to go back and think of. Carol Sanchez is another one. So I don't know if they're still doing anything at Grand Valley. Do you remember any of those names?
Some of the Robert Fry, a couple of the other names sound familiar to me, but I wouldn't be able to put a face to the name. But then you and I met shortly after that.
Right.
And so you are going through this process of helping different businesses achieve success in your consulting and doing this type of work with a couple of different businesses. You mentioned real estate. And then throughout that process, you met Ilsa, and you and I connected through that. Can you tell me a little bit about the early stages of your family?
Wow, you love to go there, and I like it. It's nice to talk about, and you know some of it, and it's cool to see where we're at today. You know, that you found your love, I found my love, and that we're smiling about it. So it's kind of cool to go way back to the genesis and the beginnings of our family. I met Ilsa through all the reasons. I'm not saying this correctly. I should not have met her. It was a very improbable circumstance that I aligned and met her, and a series of events took place. Like, I firmly believe life itself is too improbable to just be coincidence. And so I was meant to meet her, and I did. And I mean, one day she was training to bartend. I'm not even sure she was supposed to be there that day. And I wasn't supposed to go to that place that day. And all these different things occurred that shouldn't have, that did. And there she was. Yet I was too chicken to ask her out. And so I didn't ask her out. And then I saw her that same night at TGA Fridays in the Rivertown Mall. And there she was, across the bar from me. And so I think I offered to buy her a drink. I think she denied me. I said, okay, I'm too chicken to ask this girl out. And it's a good thing I didn't, because she was seeing somebody at the time. And she would have said no to me, and that would have been it, would have left it. But I didn't. Something in me didn't have me say anything to her. And then she has one of the most recognizable names, so you can find her pretty easily. I found her on Facebook, and I reached out to her, and then I bumped into her again. And you know, the rest is history. Basically, she didn't work out with the guy she was with, and we went on a date, and here we are. You know, we knew pretty quick that we were a match for each other.
Yeah, and we definitely appreciate the friendship, and I know Ilsa and Anna appreciate each other, and enjoyed some of that time together for sure in college, because they were roommates, and that's how we met. But there is, you know, alignment with your career, your family, your beliefs, and even this book, which we're going to get deeper into, that are all leading towards, you know, this journey that you've been on, and leading towards your definition of what success really means to you. You've already alluded to a little bit of this, but tell me a little bit more about EOS, kind of what you're doing today, what your focus is, and what you enjoy most about it.
Yeah, if you're hearing about EOS for the first time, you got to check it out. It is going to be someday how every company just decides to run itself through EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. And you can get a book called Traction, and you'll totally understand. You'll totally understand what I mean. But I've been doing that for 8 years. Right before I started doing that, I was trying to build my own approach to help companies and leaders get what they actually wanted out of their business. And hence No Honesty started, because I'm like, well, what am I going to call my business or my practice? And so I called it No Honesty. And then I met a gentleman in Kalamazoo, Jim Coyle, who said, you gotta check this thing EOS out more. This could be an approach for you. And I'm like, well, I have heard of it. I have used it a bit. And then it started sinking in. This is the best mousetrap out there. There is no better approach for a business to have to galvanize all its human energy and to get it rolling in the same direction. So now if you are somebody who's heard of EOS and you've heard this a lot, well, I'll tell you, 8 years ago, it was not in our area well at all. I had to explain it constantly. Here's what EOS is. Now we're starting to get to a point where I'm at today, where it's who's your CPA, who's your banker, who's your attorney, who's your EOS implementer. And so it's just blown up into this thing. At the time when I was a EOS implementer, there was probably around 120 of us when I first started. It has now grown into about 800 people doing this worldwide. this incredible work that is EOS. And so no honesty was simply a name and an idea that subsided because EOS took over. And so for 8 years, I've been running on EOS. 5 years ago in that journey, so 3 years into my EOS journey, 5 years ago from today, I was in the session room. Marissa Smith out of Ann Arbor, she's a brilliant EOS implementer. She's so good. I was in her session room and I saw these healthy rules on the wall. And so there's 40 EOS implementers in the room or so, maybe 30. And I see these healthy rules and I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Respect time, participate, it's a privilege to be here. No politics, no sidebars, no electronics, and be open and honest. I'm like, those are some great healthy rules. And so I'm dazing. I am now no longer paying attention to the 29 other people in the room, and I'm thinking about something, and I'm like, open and honest. There is something missing in my session room in a big way. And I'm thinking about all the teams I've served over the last 3 years, and I'm like, that's it. That is what they're missing. And so I would go into the room, I would tee up the objectives and the agenda for the leadership team, right? They would come in, oftentimes like zombies. Like, all right, let's knock this thing out and just do it. And then instead, after seeing these healthy rules, I'm like, I'm going to press upon this subject before we start our sessions. So now I start with the healthy rules, and I share all of them, and I put special emphasis on the 2 healthy rules.